Good night, everyone, and welcome back to another DTools Cloud After Dark webinar. Thank you for being DTools customers, tuning in and giving us so much helpful feedback. Like always, I'm going to breeze through a PowerPoint of our agenda before we dive in, and at the end of our presentation, we'll do a live Q&A to talk more about the software and how we can help. If you're a new user, welcome to the DTools Cloud team. I'm Leanne. I also go by LB, and I'm a customer success manager here at DTools. I'll be hosting this evening. Andre and Tiffany are also customer success managers, and we're here to help train you guys, coach you on best practices, and pass your feedback on to our product and development team. Megan and Veronica are your DTools Cloud account managers, and they're here to help guide you as you onboard and maximize your use of the software by adding training hours and services to help you guys to scale your businesses. All right, so tracking change orders is important for maintaining control over the project scope, budget, and timelines. We want to make sure that there's clear communication and documentation and hold our clients accountable as well. All right, so we're going to start by creating an external change order. These require review and approval by our clients. We're going to add and remove an item and then take a look at the change order proposal before sending it off. Then we'll walk through creating an internal change order. These changes do not need to be shared with the client and typically don't affect our payment schedules or the project budget too much. And as always, I'll be sprinkling in some of my favorite tips and tricks as we move through the software. The ability to rename your change order states, number sequencing for external and internal change orders, our brand new create button, and looking at the current bill of materials once we've accepted or approved our change orders. All right, so before we head into our settings, I do want to point out our new Create button in the top right corner. All right, so now wherever you are in the software, you can create a new PO, a change order, client or contact, a payment request, right, etc., saving you guys time and extra clicks to get there. All right, so I'm just going to pop in a time entry from yesterday. All right, and that was recently shipped. Okay, so let's head over to our settings and find our user and permissions section. All right, so I want to review our change order permissions. So I'm going to head over to my project managers. All right, so as an administrator, you can create a group for your team and then disable the ability to approve or reject change orders. And you're going to find that under projects here. All right, so go ahead and turn that toggle off if necessary. That way you can monitor what's being sent to clients beforehand. When you're ready, go ahead and save those changes. And again, that was user and permissions, and then find these different user groups. Create them and add your users. All right, and next up is proposals. All right, so here's where you can find your change order templates, right? Your change order proposal templates and customize them. You can also do this within an external change order. I have a residential one and a commercial one here. All right. And you can also find your change order email templates as well. All right, so feel free to come in and customize these here. Under the project tab, you'll find your change order states. So here's where you can change the colors and the naming of your change order states. I've noticed that approve and accepted trip some of you guys up sometimes. So I've gone in and changed approved to approved by a PM, right? And then my accepted state to client accepted. It was tripping me up too. So feel free to come in and customize this. All right. A few notches down, we also have our change order number option. All right, so this allows you to generate separate numbers for external and internal change orders. I suggest speaking with your accounting gurus about this feature. This might help with organizing the books and keeping track of them. And I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this toggle on. All right, and that's pretty much a wrap on our change order settings. I know that we have some new users in here tonight, so before we leave settings, I'm going to come over to the catalog tab and find taxes. Right, so I encourage you guys to find our Avalara tax integration. Right, so by turning this toggle on, we're going to automatically set your taxes when creating an opportunity based on your site addresses. Right, so it makes it really easy for you guys to manage. And if you'd like to manage it yourself, please don't forget to at least set up your tax rates here below and then select a default. All right, but let's go ahead and create our change orders. So if you haven't already, guys, feel free to come in, find this ellipsis, and edit your project stages. I've added a column here for my pending change orders because I want to stay on top of these. And of course, we have our change orders tab here with our change order Kanban, right, with those different change order states. But back to my projects tab, I'm going to jump straight into this project. All right, so here we are in our project overview. I can get to my change orders by clicking this view text here in green, or find the details icon here and then find change orders. All right, so let's create our external change order. And we are going to just name this soundbars. All right. And let's create. So we landed here in our project overview. I'm in our overview here. You can pop in your scope of work here in your project description, but I'm going to come over to the design tab underneath the overview, right? It's the same UI as in a quote or in an opportunity. And in the living room, I want to remove this soundbar. So I'm going to hover over my icon and click on this trash can. All right, and yep, I do want to remove both products and my associated labor. All right, so that one's gone, and I'm going to search for a different soundbar. So Chris wants an upgrade. I'm going to search for my Leon speakers. All right, here's my favorites, and I'm going to pop this in. I'll assign my system and add that there. All right, so I can see what's been removed and what's been added. And over to the left, when I'm looking at my locations, I can also tell that a change has been made here because I'm going to get this green and red dots. And then up at the top, we also have some tabs, right? I can see my net, the items that have changed or added, only the items that I've added, or the items that I removed. All right. So we want to provide our client with clear and documented history of all of our changes. So let's review our change order proposal. We're going to hit the green create proposal in the top right. Now, if my permissions were disabled, I'd have to have a project manager approve this change order before sharing it or manually updating this to accept it, right? And so here's that approve change order button. But let's take a look at the proposal. All right, I'm going to go with multimedia. And it's the same as editing or customizing a proposal back in opportunities, right? You can add sections by hovering over each section and clicking on this plus sign here. And of course, when hovering over each section, you can edit and get a whole bunch of options over here to your left, right? So how do you want to display this? Here is my summary with my product and labor totals. right? And my terms and conditions. So instead of actually setting this up back in settings, you can also customize this template here, hit this templates icon, and then just save the template. So once we're ready, we can share it with the client. In the top right, I'm going to hit this paper airplane. I'm going to pop in my client information. We're sending this over to Chris, right? Here's that email template that we saw back in settings. And again, you can customize these and save them here. And let's pop in our valid until date. So we're going to give Chris until the end of the month to make a decision or sign off on that. Right? When we're ready, we can go ahead and just let this rip. And if you ever want to see the proposal, the finished products, right? You want to see what Chris is actually going to see, put it in present mode by hitting that little TV icon in the top right. And here's what Chris is going to see. And of course, anytime that Chris opens this proposal, you're going to get notified by email and in the software. Same thing when he decides to accept and sign. All right, and once he signs here, this is legally binding. But we're going to go ahead and force accept this, right? So we got the okay from Chris. So I'm just going to change it from presented here to client accepted. All right, and there is change order number 1, our external change order. Now let's create an internal change order. All right, and remember these change orders do not require client approval or billing. And for this one, let's do a camera swap. Right, we're going to find the design tab again. And let's head over to the patio. All right, so instead of deleting and adding my products this time, I'm going to use our replace button, and I love this feature. So I'm going to select this one. Chris decided he wants all black cameras, and I'm going to find this replace button. All right, and it's already going to suggest this black camera. Love this. So instead of having to type it in, I'm just going to select this one. All right, and do I want to keep my labor? I do, and I also want to keep my accessories. All right, and let's replace. And if I had these cameras in other locations, I could also hit this little circle here, right, to make sure that I'm changing my cameras everywhere. But in this case, we're just going to replace the selected item. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do that. All right, so we removed this one and we added this one. Right, so notice how there is no create proposal button in the top right, because again, this is an internal change order that we're just gonna go ahead and approve. All right, and even though we aren't sharing these changes with our client, I still want to keep my team informed and aligned on the current project adjustments. So let's go ahead and approve this change order. All right, let's take a step back. All right, so here I have my external change order and my internal change order. All right, on the payments tab, you'll find your external change order payment schedule, and you can create payment requests from here. Or back on the change orders tab, right, you can just create an estimate. Right, create a new one or add it to the existing. I always suggest adding it to the existing estimate if you've already pushed the bill of materials over, right, your original bill of materials. All right, and up in the top left, we also have this More menu here where you can view your original bill of materials or download the current one with those change orders. So I'm going to go ahead and download my current one, and we'll take a look at that together. Here we go. And here's our PDF. I'm going to keep scrolling. All right, and here I can see my change order tab or tag. And down at the very bottom, I'm also going to see my payment terms here for those change orders. All right, so again, change orders are super important when managing your project scope and budget. We want to provide clear documentation and communication, measure performance against the original plan, and be able to collaborate with your team efficiently.